thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.
What's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a great show for you this evening. Why? Because I said so. We're going to talk about how to fix the representation of Black women. And this was a topic that I thought about because of the different women, Black women that have been popping up on our feeds, whether it's Jada, the Cheesecake Factory lady, Sexy Red, all these different individuals that in my estimation, are given a bad representation of Black women. And I'm around Black women on a regular basis. And I would say most of them that I'm encountered do not act like these women. However, these are the individuals that have been put in front of us that give a bad taste in our mouths for some of us to take part in. So let's talk about it. But before we do that, we're gonna start with our question of the day, which is, what were you completely certain of until you found out you were wrong? What were you completely certain of until you found out you were wrong? And we're going to start with Mr. Lost in Translation.
Good evening.
What's up, homie?
And how are you today, sir?
Listen, you getting the waves together? Is that what we doing?
Yeah, man, working on a little something.
That's
back
what's
here,
up.
man.
I can't do that. I got to.
What's going on?
I'm good,
Something
man.
I was completely certain on, man, until I found out I was wrong. My thing was this. I was wrong about women being made of sugar and spice and everything nice. You understand what I'm saying? I found out that the women outside of my immediate circle were not made of sugar and spice and everything nice. I was completely sure that all women were made of sugar and spice and everything nice.
I didn't see you coming with that one. That was pretty good, bro.
Yeah, man. I was disappointed.
What age was that when you found that out, you would say?
Maybe about 10, 11, you know.
Okay.
That's when I knew, man. That's when I knew.
Okay, for sure. Appreciate you being on as always, bro.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
It's going to be good. All right, and then we're going to come back up to the stage. We're going to see who we got. Miss Tamia.
Hello.
Good evening. How's it going?
It's going well. Something I thought I was completely certain of, and I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but I think I would say that I thought I understood the values of marriage when I first got married. So when we went through, the first years are the hardest and we're going through it, and I'm like, oh, well, this works best and this works best, and I'm aware and I'm emotionally this. And then there was a point where I had like this big aha moment, like, you're wrong. Like, I started seeing all of the places where I really was wrong. And that was a big like game changer for me. So I thought I had it all together. I thought I was the one that was well-rounded and well versed, and I was not in certain ways. So that's mine.
That's what's up. I appreciate you as always. Hey, when was that you realized that? What?
So it was when, honestly, so when we first got married, my husband was in the Navy. So it was like when I got time to like step back a bit. So we weren't in the midst because he was working or there's just other things going on. And I had space to reflect and not be all in my emotions. And I started thinking logically, or I had time to really sit there and be like, oh, wait, okay, this is what's happening. I started to figure out, it was weird. Like, it was like I would be walking or with my kids or whatever, and I'm like, I get what he was saying. Like, I don't know, it would be random. Like, it's like nothing specific would happen, but I would just be like, oh, I get it.
Oh, that's what.
Or like talking to my girlfriends about, like, talking to my closest girlfriend about it, and I'm like, I get what he's saying. Yeah.
Nothing like having an epiphany.
It definitely was, yeah.
And then we're gonna welcome to the stage the person that never gets an answer wrong, Mr. Prototype.
Lost took my answer, dog. My answer, dog.
That's crazy.
I told you, great minds think alike, man.
Oh man, he took my answer. But no, real talk, man. I used to think women had a better moral compass than men did, and it transitioned. I can't give you an exact age because it was like a transition to where I had to find out like, oh, all y'all don't got a compass. You know what I mean? It took a minute for me to understand that men are just more morally better than women, but it took. That's just what it is. Like y'all lack a moral compass. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh man. Well, thanks for being here, Prototype. You didn't already set it out. And we know your one of your nemesis got something different to say. Hey, welcome to the stage, Benny.
Oh, I want to go against him so bad. I wanted to change. I was going to go against Lost in Translation, but then I was like, stick with my original. Don't get triggered. Then Prototype came in and it was kind of just like, you know what? I'm going to change it. So let me see. Something that was completely that I was wrong about, that all men want peace. All men say that they want peace, but they really don't. So I'm going to throw that one out there, but that wasn't my original, but
okay.
I'm going to throw that one out there.
Wow. Okay. We starting like that tonight. So what was your original answer, if I may ask?
A good communicator. I thought I was a good communicator because I would always want to talk about issues right away and resolve them right away. But then being a good communicator is letting that person, or figuring out the right time for that person to talk as well, and not being selfish about your ways. So, but I changed it.
I think you was right the first time.
No, I changed it. Because I didn't know we was on like demon time right away.
I mean, they Lost started it, but I mean, yeah. I was going to start it anyway.
I thought we was going to start off slow, like soft a little bit.
No, the energy is right. Okay, so oh man, shots fired. That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna welcome to the stage Miss Ash. What's going on? What you got to add to this?
Hello,
Get 'em, Ash.
Since they want to come out with the guns blazing, let's do this. Well, I would like to say that men, are not good at communicating what they want. And when I realized this is when I was trying to get married that first time, when I was proposed to at one point. It's like the actions didn't match the words. Like you're saying you want this, but you're communicating, we need to put this on ice. We need to cool this down. And that was when I was like 22, 21. That I need to stop and slow roll and really think about what I'm doing, because I take marriage seriously.
That's what's up.
Something else serious, but that's what I took. But bam, Prototype.
Listen, anyway. I didn't set this up this way. Listen. Okay. And we're going to welcome some of the newcomers to the stage. All right, we're going to go with Miss Elena.
Hey,
how you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you being here. What you got on the question?
I ain't guns blazing like the rest of y'all. But something I was definitely certain about was being an independent woman who didn't need anybody. So about 2 years ago, then I realized maybe I was wrong. Once I achieved all my goals and realized it was kind of lonely, I thought that I was wrong.
Okay, that's what's up. So you said 2 years ago is when you kind of had that epiphany?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay, for sure. And we're going to welcome to the stage the newcomer, Mr. Sean. How's it going, sir? You've been in the back a while because they've been up here clowning, so I appreciate your patience, man.
Oh, it's all good. Thanks for having me on. I was certain of thinking like love will keep a marriage together. I was married for 15 years, went through a divorce, and I was like, oh, there's so many other things, so many other components that's required. Even when the love ain't there, there's other things other tools you can use when the love ain't there to keep the marriage alive.
That's what's up. Y'all should check out Sean's podcast. Because you don't have the name up here. Can you tell them what it is?
Oh, so Scary to Remarry.
Scary to Remarry. And then Elena, what's yours?
It's Elena. It's the Elena Show.
The Elena Show. That's right. So if y'all could just check them out, give them a like as well as a subscribe over there. Okay, cool. I guess it's on me. Mine was affirmative action. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember having these conversations for years that affirmative action was a good thing for Black people. And I think I was arguing for like 3 years about this conversation. And then when I went to go do my own research, I was like, oh yeah, this ain't what it is. And that was mind blowing because most of us don't like to be wrong, but I found myself being very wrong in that particular aspect. So now I'm of the mind, best man, best woman get the position. That's what I think. You just need to do better. All right. So that's that. And we're gonna get into this, man. First question is, what are the current adjectives to describe women? What are the current adjectives to describe women? Okay. Be nice. But listen, I ain't gonna tell you. Listen, y'all be you, like you always do. All right. We're gonna start with Mr. Sean. What are some characteristics or current adjectives that you would describe?
Are you saying what we see in the media or from my experience?
You tell me what you want, and that's how it goes. So we go based on however you want to describe it. And then you can give us your context.
I would say misunderstood. Yeah, that's really my whole take. Misunderstood.
Misunderstood. Is that media and all? So is it media or your circle?
Both.
Both. All right, bet. So you can give me one. I'm good with that. Who would you like to go next?
Let's go with Ash.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. What? Let's see. I mean, okay. You said an adjective. I'm not gonna say that word. I don't think that's a very healthy descriptive word. Neither is that one. I'm trying to be positive here. Okay, far as media wise, I'm gonna say trash media wise, because when you think about it, because I have girls, everybody know I got kids. When you put these people out here with the content that they're putting, and y'all know I say it all the time, what you think, we're getting strippers and prostitutes. So how do you expect these kids to grow up and try to be something productive if only thing you're trying to teach them is showing off your body, and your bodies will get you the attention, the bag, and all that other type of stuff? And I'm gonna pause right there and pass it over to my brother Prototype, because I know we finna go around tonight.
I mean, first thing boys be like, when they come outside, where the pros at? Nah, man, Prototype Dad, we just came up with a term called pirates, because they always trying to take your money. You know what I'm saying? They always trying to take something from you, get a free meal from you. So we've been calling them pirates. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it, man. Like, there's nothing positive we really say about females as far as how we refer to them. It's always a negative thing. You know what I'm saying? Because they're always trying to get your pockets, or they're always trying to take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? It's never nothing positive. What's up, man?
That's hard, bro.
It's just, that's
they
the truth,
waiting to say something to you.
I mean, think about it though. Like, how do you refer to women amongst your peer groups? You know what I'm saying? Everybody, most of the time it's called the pros. Okay. What's up, Penny?
I'm not
even calling on you, Penny.
I'm not even going to deal with that. I'm just let that go. Because then I'm going to say, give me an example. Who are you talking about? Give me an example.
We'll get to that in a minute. Don't say who, but just get that.
I'm going to say all of them. But go ahead.
I'll say uninformed. What will say? Say uninformed, both on social media and in the environment that I'm around. Just uninformed. Like with their emotions, what stage they're at, uninformed.
Uninformed, I got you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Who you got going next?
I'm gonna do Lost in Translation.
I'm so glad you chose me.
I was glad you didn't go before me.
I'm finna piggyback off what you said. You said uninformed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even when you inform them, my word is inflexible. They refuse to be flexible in the event of new information. I have seen this several times, even with logic, even with evidence that has been presented. It seems to be they're unwilling to be flexible. They don't want to compromise. Even if they do compromise, it's heavy on their side and light on your side. It's never a equal reciprocity that's involved in that situation. So my word is inflexible. And I'm going to go with Tamia.
So mine is kind of like Penny's. I was going to say misguided and prideful. I feel like a lot of women, especially just on social media, are misguided. Like they're looking in the wrong direction for what they should do, how they should move, what's important, what's not important, what looks fine, what the standard is all just, it's like the blind leading the blind. So I would definitely say misguided, social media wise. If I was to look at my personal peer group, I would say actually quite ambitious. And yeah, I would say I know some pretty amazing females. But yeah, definitely on a general scope, misguided. From the teens to the children to the adults, it's like who's everybody, like, like what's the motive here? And that aligns with just being like misinformed, like there's not enough information. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. Who you got going next?
Elena. Sorry.
Okay, I would say, because I say this a lot on my platform, that a lot of women are delusional. I mean, they refuse logic. The answers are in their face. The actions are there, but the words, women hold on to words that men say or people say. Even if in reality they can look at it and they can see that's not true, they will choose to be delusional.
Okay.
I want to add.
Go ahead.
I want to add results seeking to it.
Explain, please.
I feel like a lot of women do like seek the results that they want. When they say this is how you get a man, they seek all the information to how to get it that way. If it doesn't work that way, they look on social media. They're saying you can get a man this way. They say to be a wife, do these things. So I would say result seeking, just trying to find the results to what they want and just don't know how to go about it. Because there are no proven results. No one can say, if you do this direct way, that it will end up that way. There is no direct results.
Agreed. Agreed.
You agree with that?
I agree with that.
There's like proven methods to get a man.
I feel like Penny actually helped expand on what I was saying, because women these days are very results based. We go on TikTok, we watch podcasts, we call each other. We're all seeking an answer or a guide because we're very much, most of us are quite strategic, just naturally how women function. How do I do this? How do I make this happen? Whether it's right, no, we're not saying the results are right or wrong, right? Or that we're using the best way to get to those results, but it is the blind leading the blind. I want to know how to have a successful business. Let me go watch this YouTuber because of her numbers, right? But you don't know that YouTuber. You don't know that you align with that. You maybe don't even have the same business idea or function the same, but you're seeking it there. Oh, I want to make this meal. I want to be this type of person. Like it's the whole Delulu thing, delusional. That's a whole trend right now. Being openly delusional is literally a trend. Or like,
what's the definition of delusional though?
Delusional is like almost insanity. Like, you know that something is delusional is like, it's not real. Whatever you're thinking is not fact. It's not reality. And you know that, or maybe sometimes, no, actually somebody who's delusional really thinks that a matter that isn't realistic is realistic. Yeah. Like somebody delusional is like, oh, I'm what
they want.
You right. It's
what they want. They want something, they're gonna find a way to do it, even if it's toxic. If they want to hurt a man, they're gonna find what's the best way to hurt him. What's the best way to get on?
And no one can tell them they're wrong. And that's the delusional part. No one can tell them they're wrong. If they find this is what it is, like a man could cheat on a woman 1 billion times. Oh, but he loves me the most. Oh, okay, but he doesn't respect you. But he loves me the most. That's delusional. That's delulu.
Even if one person got it right, they're gonna believe that's me.
Like the one friend, friend's like, yeah, girl, he loves you. He loves you. Yeah, he loves you so much. That's the friend that they're going to stick around because they're both delusional. So You know, like it's like whatever makes my reality sound good, and that's a delusion. That's not real.
Well, I want
That's
to
not
fix
real.
that. That's one of the things that I want to talk about and try to get that fixed today. Okay, Lost in Translation. What's your thought on it though? I see you
Women
shaking
don't.
your head.
Here's my thing, man. Penny said that women look for ways to do stuff. No, they don't. They look for the easiest way they can get what they want to get for free with as little effort as possible.
That's still results based.
No, it's not. Because here's the thing. You can actually, there's more than one way to skin a cat. But my thing is that they want to do, I put it like this. If there was a way that you can get what you want, and the easiest way to do it is to be unethical, they would be unethical. It speaks to what Prototype said earlier. So I've seen this a bunch of times. And even if you are in the face of right, they don't want to be wrong because they feel like it's an indictment on them. And when it's not, we're talking about a specific problem. You're not bad. You just had bad information. Now, once I give you that information and then I show you where it's right and you still decide you want to do it your way, that is delusional. That point is
well,
delusional.
most women are still going to do it their way. I say it all the time. Like,
if you tell a woman how to do something and she goes the other way, that means that she didn't see you get it wrong before, and she don't trust your judgments to get it right.
I don't think so. Because I will provide evidence and say, hey, look, this is what this is. Now, if she decides in her mind that what I'm doing is not the way she wants to do it, and she goes another direction, that is completely on her. Now, my whole thing is this: if everybody is entitled to their opinion, but you're not entitled to your consequences. So have at it.
I did say prideful. Prideful.
Yes,
women
you
are
did.
very prideful. They're very, very prideful. So it's like, and I think that prideful, if that pride, when I think about it, is we're mistaking, in some senses, confidence for pride. Like, a lot of women think that they're standing their ground or they're like showing their worth, but in all reality, you're being prideful. Like, there are situations where women are like, oh, I'm just going to step away. That's below me, or this is not whatever, or blah, 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 because they're thinking self-worth, whichever, but that's really masked pride. So that's why I mentioned that as well, because it has to do with the misguided situations and the lack of information. Where did you get that idea of confidence? Who showed you what confidence looks like and how to use that? And I think that's where the connection disappear. That's where the disconnect is, because what were we as Black women, what does our confidence look like? Is it truly, in some cases, is it truly confidence and integrity? Or is it like, I'm a Black woman and you're not about to play me, and until you literally break me down to make me agree with you, or we got to go through the wrath for me to see your point, I'm standing on where it's at, whether I'm right or wrong. And then there goes the delusional. It's all a cycle.
It's a loop.
Go ahead, Ash. What you was about to add?
I don't forgot now. Hold on. Oh, prideful. It's like, the thing is I don't want to be wrong, so they don't rely on confidence. It's a pride thing. It's like, if you ain't aligned with my idea, you being disrespectful to me, because you're supposed to stand in line with me right now. If I say, hey, we finna stand in this rain and mess up our hair because these men gonna get in line today, that's what we finna do. And if you ain't in line with that, you got a problem with that. So you going against me. So my pride, and that's when you get, the hangry words, the hurtful words start to come out and spew out. You really see them true colors, because of their pride done got touched and hurt in a manner that they feel like you just disrespect me in front of everybody. And it really wasn't with that. It was like, hey, we can do this another day or a different way. But since that doesn't align with the idea, you wrong.
I think it comes from that strong Black woman mentality. So as a Black woman, feel like in order to be strong, you cannot be wrong. You cannot fail. You cannot mess up. So they hold on to all that pride. So even when they know they're wrong, it's the fact that I'm a strong Black woman and I can't be anything other than that. So you can't tell me I'm wrong because I'm not wrong. And I think that's a lot too, have to do with it too.
That's what's up. Hey, Dwayne, what's going on with you, bro?
Howdy, folks. Sorry I'm late there.
No worries. It's normal. So we good with it. You know what I'm saying? You my dude, Hey, we're gonna get you in on this. What are some current adjectives to describe women?
Ooh, yeah. I'd have to go with that prideful. Yeah.
So, is there any positive thing about women?
Oh yeah, there are multitudes of them.
Okay, well, just give me one.
Okay.
You guys to think that long to come up with one?
Yeah.
Okay.
My
If it's a multitude,
hey, ladies, forgive me.
Aren't
Forgive
y'all
me.
married to women?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, don't y'all have wives? What's good about them?
That's
Loving. Okay,
That
loving.
did sound convincing.
like nurturing.
That's because she
Nurturing.
shamed him into saying
She
it.
said-
Oh, goodness. No,
Let's be
goodness.
honest.
This
Hey,
is
we're gonna
why
be real tonight. We're
black
gonna be
women
real.
Okay.
And I'm not done yet.
Listen,
Come
most
on,
women are
Dwayne.
nurturing. Period. Like
Yeah.
most women are nurturing.
Yeah.
They
pride
are
got
positive.
one right there.
Huh?
That is not true. That
That's
is
what?
not true.
Women are
I
born
said-
nurturers.
That's a
Most
part
women
of
are
their
not
character.
nurturing. That's something that I got wrong. Thinking that
No,
all women were
most women
naturally
are
nurturing.
nurturing,
That's
bro.
not true.
That's scientifically proven.
That's
It's
why
not
black
true.
women are
Born
like
nurturers, and we
this
lo-
reason.
and we lose it.
Exactly.
We lose it through experience. We're born nurturers, and that it depletes through certain experiences. So if you,
Some
I
women don't
believe
get it
we're
at
born
all. Some women
nurturers.
don't get it. Like flat out.
What I'm saying by that is like a woman that when she first has a kid is very nurturing, bro. No matter how hood she might be or what's the not inconsistent, but what's the word that y'all use? Is less information she has, she's still gonna be nurturing towards her kid, right? That's just because that's what's in them.
No.
You can say no, that don't make you right. We went through this before, bro.
What I'm just saying is not true. It's just
based
not
on
true.
what
Well, of course
information.
it differs. Of course
Based
it
on what
differs.
we talking about, the general, right? General,
Yeah. Like the general. I mean,
Yeah,
I know what we're supposed to say about it, and supposed to assume that women are naturally nurturers, but that is just not true.
Based on what though? That's a fact.
I mean, I guess I can go off of my anecdotal experience, but
then you know you won't be
In one
wrong because our anecdotal experience doesn't tell us about the general population, right? So,
yes.
Nevertheless, I just thought that was interesting that most of y'all came with the negative for women, and I didn't say anything, but other than how would you describe it, Penny? What did you say? You didn't say
I
something.
said that's why black women are like that because of this. Like all the things that you could say, everybody's just say something negative. That's why.
No,
so you gotta be prideful when everyone's saying something negative. You can't even say nothing positive out of all the women in your life, all the women that you encountered.
Hold on. So we talk about the general pop. So we're being as for general.
Yeah, we
general. It can be your environment, the ones that you're around.
It was any way you wanted to spin it.
Yeah, anyway.
The more women I've come across, the more negative it's become.
Yeah, I mean, because I'll say it's based on culture as well. Like culture is pumping in this whole boss B mentality, right? This whole independent women, modern women, like that's so coming off from that way, it's like being prideful that guess what? I don't need a man. I don't need a man. So in that, what is that? That's pride, because it's self-sufficiency, where it's not supposed to be like that. So as for our culture, as our culture gravitates that way, I think more and more women are going to gravitate towards that until they encounter spaces like this, which then gives a different perspective on it.
Yeah, we're trying to give solutions. We're going to state the problem and then we're going to come with solutions. You know what I'm saying? Sean, did you want to chime in on any of this?
Yeah, I just like to listen, man. To me, I feel like I don't want to flip it, but I'm going somewhere. I think if we want to create change, it start with men, and women will eventually fall in line, at least the ones who are team oriented. Like, I think by today's standards, we don't stay in relationships long enough to even build with anybody. Like, my old mentor used to tell me great marriages aren't found, they're built. So I think a lot of times we don't take the time to build with someone to work out all those impurities, work out all those childhood traumas. We just playing musical matches with people. So we never really get to know people in depth.
You said musical mattress. Is that what you said?
That's the first.
That's a good one.
All right. So like, what is it to? I think we've talked about that before. What is it like to build with somebody? You know, if the childhood trauma is to, if it was traumatic, then they're people are not staying. You know, people don't even stay on jobs. You know, people don't even stay connected. Like Black people specifically are the highest rated to start a business and the fastest to lose a bit or fail at a business, right? And all it is about a stick-to-itiveness, right? And what things are can you work on to get better? So that's a very good point. So I was talking to I saw the video. Let me see if I can transition like this. Did I sent the video to y'all with the Cheesecake Factory lady, and that's what sparked my mind to say, okay, Black women out here getting a bad representation right now. What did you see if you watched it? If you didn't watch it, it's okay. What did you see? What the adjectives would you use to describe her?
Inflexible. And I'll tell you why. During the video, it came out that the gentleman was waiting hours for her to come down, and he had already made reservations. So he decided to say, hey, you know, since I can't, you know, get the reservations I want, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. She felt like Cheesecake Factory was beneath her. Okay. And a problem that a lot of women in this position have is their ego. They automatically assume that their value is tied to outside intrinsic properties. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, for instance, if I go to the Cheesecake Factory, what are those people are going to say about me? You know what I mean? My whole thing is that sometimes you have to separate yourself from things that are around you. That's why I always tell people, you are not your problems. You know what I mean? You can fail and still be a good person. You see what I'm saying? So I think what happens is a lot of times as us, when it comes to success, we automatically figure that when we fail, we are a failure when we're not. Failing is a part of life. And the only way for you to get better is to fail. Thomas Edison found 1,000 ways not to make the light bulb work. All he needed was one way. You see what I'm saying? And thus he was a success. You see what I'm saying? So my whole thing is this: we have to learn to separate our ego from our circumstance and know that we're going to be who we're going to be, whether or not we're in a good time or a bad time situation. So I think that is the main problem with a lot of people today, and especially women in a situation. They think that they're their things. They think that they're their positions, and they think that they're their surroundings. So that is the reason why I said that they were inflexible, because her ego was tied into the fact that she was going to be seen somewhere she should not have been seen, because she has a more grandiose version of herself playing in her head. So when the guy came back and said, you know what, I felt disrespected, I'm going to go ahead and take you home. See, at that point in his mind, he said in his mind, I'm going to go ahead and have pride in myself because I'm not going to subject myself to disrespect. And he was a gentleman about it. You know what I mean? He didn't try to pull out his phone and try to disrespect her in front of other people. You know, he didn't try to get other people involved on social media and say, you know, hey, look, I'm taking this chick back to the house because she was acting a fool. She was the one who pulled out the camera and tried to use other people's opinion to control this man's actions. And I think a lot of times women use that tactic as a means to make themselves seem right by saying, hey, look, all these other people agree, so I must be right. Well, I'm telling you, coming from the gambling world, most people who bet on stuff are wrong. The winners are few, you know what I mean? But the losers are many. That's the reason why the casinos have all these doors for y'all to come on in, but there ain't but a few winners walking out. And you best believe that's how it is in relationships too. There are going to be a lot of people who walk into relationships, but there are going to be a few that stay.
Okay, that's okay. That's a true statement, but I want there to be more that stay. You know what I'm saying?
I do too.
Connected to what Sean was saying, you know, people need to be okay with the work that it takes to be in a relationship. But let me ask the women this: what advice would you give to her? Did y'all see the second part of the video where she's talking, where they got interviewed?
I tried to watch it, but I just felt like it was BS because of her behavior, and a lot of people was going against her. That's what I felt like she was doing. She was trying to come back and do some type of tactic to say, hey, I felt like this. No, because to me, I already said that I felt like she was a false sense of entitlement. Like I said on the last Monday, if I'm late, I'm gonna call you. Like I communicate with you, like, hey, I gotta do this for my kid. I'm gonna be with you as soon as I get done. That's part of being grown. If you know you're not ready, why not tell that man that, like, okay, hey, I'm running late. Let me go ahead and meet you there so we can still have our reservation.
Right,
And
but
I'll just walk
I'm
away.
saying is, now that you know what has occurred, what would be
It's still the
your
same.
conversation with her? Because that's already happened, right? So
It's still the same thing.
Now we got to fix it. We got to try to get a resolution. We already know the problem. So what would be advice, you know what I'm saying, like in a condensed version of what you would tell her in this situation?
Time. Learn how to, hold on, it ain't on there. Learn how to value somebody's time. Like, be respectful of that man's time. That man was taking you somewhere, taking you out. If he's paying for it, the least you can do is have yourself ready. And if you need 5 to 10 minutes, be considerate and let that man know. That's rude. He was coming to pick you up. You wasn't driving nowhere. And the way she looked, you should have been ready. So my thing is, still again, because be considerate of somebody's time and also communicate. We talk about communication all the time. If you're not ready, just let that man know. Like, you had him waiting for 2 or 3 hours. Like I told y'all, I would have been out. I would have been at the house. I already been eating my food, and she would have still been down there talking about, is you outside? My thing is, that was just unconsiderate from jump. Like, be considerate of that man. He didn't have to come do none of that. He didn't have to sit down there and continue to sit. He did that because he actually saw something that he wanted to invest his time in. So with that being said, the conversation now is, hey, sis, you messed up. It's okay. You thought you was right, but next time you need to value that man's time and learn how to communicate. Hey, I'm running late. I'll meet you there. That's all to it. If you can't do the simple things, why are you trying to date somebody? That's all it is. You out here trying to date for what? You can't even do simple gestures. Simple gestures.
Okay.
That's common courtesy right there.
I got
Go
you.
ahead, Tamia.
Yeah, go ahead, Tamia. What advice would you give to her? Or any woman that has a position or mindset?
Yeah. So I actually, as soon as I saw it, I sent the video to Humble Dad because I was like, this is what I mean by misguided, right? She has an she's basically an extremist to this whole like self-worth concept, right? She takes something and drags it the extra mile. So what the conversation I would have with her is, as a friend or any other woman, I would have just been like, for one, okay, let's acknowledge your part. Let's acknowledge the whole situation and not just the fact that you just showed up to a Cheesecake Factory parking lot. What did it look like from the start? And are you being self-aware? Because he didn't need to be there. Like everybody's saying, he could have left. The date could have been postponed, rescheduled, or you could have never heard from him again. And I would be completely honest and say, like, that was straight arrogant. That's straight arrogance and the audacity. And I would say that to a friend, and I would say that to another female. It's not attractive and it's not kind at all. So for you to even sit there after that and request a restaurant of a higher stature, but your character does not reflect that at all, you're not giving a good look for yourself. So one, I would tell her she needs to honestly reevaluate what her values are. Like, what are your values? Because from the moment he pulled up there and you locked his car door and he's still talking to you, like, we can talk about it. You want to talk about it? We can talk about it. He's not lashing out on you. He's being patient. You're so blinded by your extremist views of this is what I deserve and this is what I want, that you don't notice that the man is treating you in a way that technically should, you know, a woman should be treated of the stature that you're saying you are, right? With patience, with understanding, with kindness, and you're pushing that away because you haven't sat down and evaluated your values. You haven't sat down and figured out what you're ready for. You haven't sat down and said, okay, am I ready for that kind of man? I would have had to tell her, like, you're not ready. You're not ready for him to take you to Del Frisco's. You're not ready.
So that's what you would have told her, that she's not ready based on
not ready.
her
she
not
have done the work prior. And she overexerted the idea of feminism and what that is, like it in an unhealthy way.
I got you. Elena, can you tell me what you would have, what's some advice you would give to women in that may think like this?
Well, I feel like don't go on dates with people you see no future with and you're not attracted to. Because I feel like had that been somebody that she was into, he could have took her to Wendy's and she would have been fine with that. And a lot of times you see women out here, they're just going on dates just to post on social media or just to go on a date. Simple like that. So yeah, don't go on a date with people you're not interested in. And at the end of the day, if that was reversed, she definitely would not like that. It would be a whole different story.
That's what's up. Penny, on you. What advice would you give her?
Well, I didn't see the full video, so I really don't know. I just know that like she wanted to go somewhere, and he said he was going to take her to the Cheesecake Factory.
Well, the second video. I'm sorry, Penny. I thought I sent the second video. I apologize, but the second video was where she was him and her were being interviewed by somebody, and she was saying that she had pretty much learned her lesson, so to speak, right? But
going out with him.
She said she learned a lesson in the sense of why she how did she say it? She said that nobody had ever told her that before. She was misinformed, as you all have stated.
No one told her about what?
How, like in her mind, women's supposed to be wined and dined.
Okay.
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 And so also to his point, he said was that he had told her he was going to take her somewhere special, right? And then it ends up that it's Cheddar's. Not Cheddar, sorry. It ends up being Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's what was in her mind. So, but she comes to a point of, long story short, she would be interested in a second date.
I mean, my first thought was, stay in your lane. That was my first thought. Because I can't say that, her wanting to be, wined and dined is wrong. Is probably was the wrong person. Because, I've met a lot of men that would prefer to take you somewhere, extravagant, and you may not want to go somewhere extravagant. You may want to go somewhere that's more convenient. You might want to go somewhere that's more where you guys can talk and, have more of a conversation, more of a dialect. But so I think I would say, like, stay in your lane. Find someone who, if you want to be wined and dined every time you go out, get with a man who likes to wine and dine women every time he goes out. So I think I would just say stay in your lane.
Dr. Glenn, not Dr. I'm sorry. I'm thinking I'm like at work. Sorry, y'all. Humble dad. I want to mention he did have a nicer place for her, and she was an hour late. They lost their reservation. So he initially this was a very well-established man. He had everything ready for her, but she was up in her house for a whole hour, and he was in her parking lot and didn't even tell him that she was running behind, wouldn't invite him inside, which he said was fine because it was their first date, but she didn't communicate. And that's when he said, okay, I can't, fancy restaurants, you can't just call it. It's not Applebee's. You can't just be like, hey. So they lost that opportunity, but he still wanted to hang out with her. He still wanted to meet her. So he took her to Cheesecake Factory as a second thing. And she was like, how dare you, basically.
I mean, I still would say the same thing. Yeah. I mean, I would say the same thing because when you value, being wined and dined, it comes with a certain personality. And so it comes with a certain type of person. So, like Elaine said, is it Elena? I'm sorry. Elena? I think Elena said, like the person that you're with, know the person that you're going out with. Because even if it was, you know, the restaurant reservations did get canceled. Certain type of dudes, they'll only go to certain places, you know, and say, hey, I'm gonna find somewhere for us to go. It's gonna be lit, you know. But you just gotta, you know, or if you have somebody that's down to earth, they'll say, hey, let's just go to Cheesecake Factory. And if you down to earth too, you can, okay, come on, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. So it's still about knowing who you with and, you know, staying in that lane, because you can't say that all women are going to be humble that way. All women are not going to be humble that way. The ones that are not, let them go to the men that can't be humble. So stay in your lane.
But we looking over the fact the dude provided a second option, though. It was her fault. But nothing against what you said. It's just that dude was trying.
And she still didn't want the second option, right?
Yeah,
she wanted somewhere extravagant.
But the thing is, like you said, them kind of dudes got that pull. That man may not have that pull. He may have had that pull and probably had that set up for her and was nice and everything. You know, that's kind of hard to do, because I done walked into Ocean Air and hey, it's crazy. Yeah, I can't get it.
Hold on real quick. Let me get the newcomer to the stage. My homie, my friend, Uncle Rick. What it do?
What's up, HD? Good to be back, man. I apologize for being late, man. I got stuck with some house stuff. My apologies.
No worries. You know, you're the first person to call me HD.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That's my man's. You know what I'm saying?
What you got? So the topic is really centered around trying to fix the representation of Black women, right? So I give you a moment to tell us what's your thought process on the representation of Black women, and we'll go from there.
The representation of Black women as a whole?
Representation, yes. So who are we'll transition to the next question. Who are currently the representations of Black women?
We have extremes. You got Beyonce, right? The queen bee, the consummate professional boss woman mama, right? Established man, rich, able to juggle everything without breaking a sweat, right? Then you have the gutter rats, the Sukianas, right? I don't know why I'm gonna say this every time I say her name. Sexy Red. She looked like a bowl of nasty spaghetti. I don't get where they get sexy from.
If you're hungry enough.
But peep game, because y'all, hey, I need y'all to listen.
Did you hear what I said?
It's the same for Black men. Right? Average, right? The median is never represented. Right? It's either the Michael B. Jordans or the broke boys, right? It's never the middle guys. I don't see why people don't understand that this is programming that's being given to us on a day-to-day basis. Right? So the representation, if I'm being honest, it's you can either be something, you can either worship something you could never achieve in your lifetime, or be this.
So nobody's okay with being normal, average, or mediocre.
Not at all.
Nobody's okay with him.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
That's what I'm saying. You right.
Right. So, but to speak on a Cheesecake Factory thing, if I may, right? And this is what I'm gonna make this simple and plain. This is what brothers mean when they tell y'all, when y'all get a good man, y'all not ready for one. This is that situation in a microcosm, right? He had an excellent date, planned it out, everything, came, picked you up. All you had to do was be ready and be on time. You set that man outside for an hour, and he did what every woman, right? What every woman say to a woman when we say, hey, you shouldn't spend no time on no woman. Don't give her no second chance. Don't give her no grace, right? He was patient with her. And then when he stayed and waited like a good man should, right? Not judging you on the first thing in book he see, right? He take you to somewhere and it's not good enough for you. While you're the reason we're here. Black women that agree with her, go ahead with your bad selves. Go ahead. She was wrong. Period. She was Wrong. No matter how y'all try to slice it and dice it and say, oh, then she shouldn't. Why is he at her house then?
Did you hear what I said?
I think the fact that she had him waiting that amount of time that spoke volumes. She did not want to go on a date. A woman gonna be ready ahead of time if she really wants to go out with a guy. The fact that he was waiting there, she really didn't want to go.
Exactly.
But in society, like you just said, men
That's
are
what it
supposed
was.
to wait.
She just wanted to
No,
food.
you can't have me 15 minutes waiting. You got a 15-minute buffer. He's a better man than me. Where he messed up is he should have left her there.
Yeah, I agree. He should have left.
Right? Again, he did what everybody said men should do. Be patient, be kind. She's getting ready for you.
Put your best foot forward.
And look what it get him. No matter what y'all say, that man got embarrassed. Because he paying to go show you a good time. Again, the women who agree with him, y'all go ahead then. Sorry, sacks or somethings.
Humble Dad, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead. Lost in translation, then we go with prototype.
Humble Dad, if I may. I think here's the problem, man. I think sometimes people want to ride the coattails of someone else's work. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. A lot of women want to be Beyonce, but they don't want to put in the Beyonce work. You know what I'm saying? So what they do is they self-identify with Beyonce, and therefore they can become Beyonce. I'll give you an example. When I was a young boy, I used to want to be Superman. So guess what I did? I went and got my mama's best bath towel, put it in my shirt in the back of my collar, jumped off the stairs and almost broke my leg. Guess what? I did not fly. Even though I identified as Superman, I thought I was a superhero, but guess what? I was not. And what happens is we like to use other people's identity. We like to steal and borrow other people's identity and put it on like a costume. You know what I mean? I think it's so fitting that we're so close to Halloween that a lot of times we need to take a look at ourselves and say, hey, look, I am not my costume. You know what I mean? We can't cheat the system. It'll be the same way if I didn't go to the gym every day and if I didn't work out, and I didn't eat right, but at the same time, I go and get me some Lee press on abs, you know what I mean? And some Lee press on muscles and walk out the house and try to squeeze into a suit and look fine, you know what I mean? And tell everybody I am him. I am that man. When everybody can stand there and look and say, you are not that man. Everything that you got on is fake. And I think what happens is we like to take the idea of something, and I like to call it identity politics. We like to identify with winners. If you don't believe me, talk about somebody's football team, because that person has an investment in that identity. So they're going to say, you know what? I don't care what you say about my Cowboys. I don't care what you're going to say. I'm going to ride with them till the wheels fall off. And what happens is people like to identify with winners. They want to identify with those who seem to be popular. But my thing is this: nobody wants to identify with the losers. You see what I'm saying? But my thing is this: no matter what somebody says about me, I'm going to be me. You know why? Because manners maketh man. I don't care what these thugs are doing out in his streets. I'm still going to be the man I'm going to be. I'm still going to be a gentleman. I'm still going to be respectful. I don't care what nobody else says. As a matter of fact, they're going to look up to me before I look up to them, because I am him. You see what I'm saying? And I'll put in the work, but I'm not going to borrow somebody else's identity and then claim it for my own. That's where integrity comes in. That's what Prototype was talking about the other day, a few minutes ago, about having integrity about yourself. You see what I'm saying? You can't borrow somebody else's identity and claim it for your own if you did not put the work in. So my thing is this: my thing to women: stop borrowing somebody else's identity and create your own. You already have your own worth. Stop stealing somebody else's identity. And I'm gonna leave it there.
Go ahead, Prototype.
I guess this is the advice segment to women, right? So I really don't have any. You are who you are. I don't believe people change. You know what I'm saying? So if a woman is naturally sweet, nurturing, those kind of, that's who she is. Um, I haven't ran into many. I don't feel that there really are that many. But on the flip, like I said, people like you are who you are. So even if this girl changes, at some point, this negative person is going to come back out at some point in this relationship. You know what I mean? So she is who she is. There's really no advice you can give her that would be like, oh, well, you need to work on yourself. She's just an evil person, and that's
Yeah, I don't
just
think
all it
she'll
is.
change either. She mentioned her friends. So in the sisterhood, women put a lot of pressure on other women, especially single women. They're like, girl, no, you don't deserve that if he don't take you there. Even though they themselves are single, they will tell their friend who is dating, girl, you don't deserve that. Don't deal with a guy who's only going to take you to the Cheesecake Factory. Because she mentioned how important her friends' opinions of her were. So unless she changes her friends and the people around her, he's right. She's not going to change. There's like no chance of her changing at all.
None.
But
There's no
according
advice
to
you can give her
Sean,
like that.
but according to Sean, though, it's the men that are around her.
I
So
don't think she
speaking
got
on
no
that,
men around her.
what I'm saying, this is what Sean said. He said the things will change, and we're just using her as an example, as well as remember I told y'all last week. I thought it was Will's fault that Jada act like this. You know what I'm saying?
In the absence
100.
of Will, would she still act that way?
I don't think so, because if like I told y'all, when I watched the playback of the when they was together for the first time, her body language was totally different year 3 than year 1 and 2. When you know, I'm speculating, but it almost felt like he had did something that she didn't like, and she wanted to return the favor, right? But I want to transition. What Sean is saying is that that women respond based on how men are. Was that your premise, Sean?
Yep.
So talk to me about that. So her behavior is what it was. Jay's was what it was. Sexy Red is what it is. Beyonce is what it is. And the women on the panel's behavior is based on the dudes. Help me understand that.
I'll just give you a quick example. For me, right? I don't associate with BS. I just don't. I think for me, example, right? I met my wife on Instagram. I already knew what I was looking for in a woman when I remarried. If her morals and values don't align with mine, I can't rock with you. I don't care how big your booty is. You know what I'm saying? I'm more legacy minded. I'm thinking the future. I'm not thinking of sleeping with you for one night. Now, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But just know, like Lost in Translation was saying, you know what I'm saying, there's consequences that come with the things that you do. So it just depends on who you're willing to rock with. Man, listen, I don't have time for it. If I'm dating you, again, if the moral compass ain't there with if we're not aligned, I'm not wasting my time. A lot of times guys are, oh, she got a fat ass, so I'm gonna give her a chance. But didn't even know if y'all had anything in alignment. Now she's pregnant, and now you want to blast her on social media because of the decision you made. I always tell people, I was married to my ex-wife for 15 years. I would never put her on blast because guess what? I chose her. Like, people don't like being accountable for the actions that they take. Like, they will pick somebody, nobody put a gun to their head. And then when they find out that they're not compatible after they done did everything up under the sun, then they want to talk about how bad men are. Then they want to talk about how bad women are. To me, my mantra is change starts with me. I can't control nobody but myself. So the decisions that I make, I have to be, just like I was grown enough to sleep with somebody or grown enough to make a stupid decision, I have to be grown enough to own up to it and live with it and learn from it and do better next time. That's my thought.
Anybody want to add to that? That seems like something Dwayne would say. He would have this conversation all the time. What's your thoughts on it, Dwayne?
Man, I was just sitting here thinking, as we're talking about her, these are preferences that she has, and how can we sit here and blame somebody for their preferences? Like if she's trying to catch that big fish, let her throw her bait, right? Like who cares if she's in a lake trying to catch a shark? I mean that's how I look at it. It's a preference. You can't stop people from being stupid.
So my thing is, she knew he wasn't her preference. She knew that. So I feel like she still like took advantage of the guy just for a free dinner. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she's seen dollar signs. I think she's seen what race he was, and she was thinking like he gonna take me out to eat, gonna take me somewhere good, and I'm gonna eat. And that's what she was banking on. And then when it didn't happen because of her, she was upset because she thought they was going to go somewhere and she was going to be able to tell her friends all about the time she had when she took this other man from this different race and he took her out and he treated her well. And I think it just didn't hit that way, and obviously she hasn't been experienced enough to be taken out like that, because it shows.
I mean, well, how about if she's got other people like that, where she was able to get away with that for?
She hasn't been able to get away with that.
Yeah, I doubt that.
She hasn't been able.
But that's what I'm talking about, right? This is where the man has to take accountability. Now, first and foremost, I'm getting real tired of this ism, right? That because a person was decent, they was wrong. Right? Because he was a man moving in good faith, he was the sucker. He was wrong. Did he make a bad judgment call? Yes. Yes, he did. Right? But we are getting to this point where we are getting to this point in society where being incorrect is the wave. Right now, this, like I said, this dude's responsibility was, you don't leave me as a man sitting waiting for an hour. When my time is just, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, ladies. In this case, if I'm the one putting the bill, my time is way more valuable than yours. Right? So just because he made the mistaken judgment, don't make her correct. She was wrong.
I think she was wrong, but there is no way of changing that if that's how she feels about herself and that's what she wants. You just leave her to get the results on her own, and experience will give her those results. She'll later humble herself when she don't get nowhere, but she has to experience that. She's the one that's gonna have to bump her head.
But I guess that's the point. I'm sorry, Penny. Okay. So I guess that was my point, Dan. Like you are, as for entitlement, you're entitled to be wrong as well, if that's what you so choose to be, because that's her life. So if that's how she wants to go about it, like we could look at it from our perspective and say she's going about it wrong, but her success is different than what our idea of success is. Like her idea of success is to catch a man that is willing to put up with that. Where our idea of success is not, it ain't gonna roll like that. Like I'm not out here trying to date no astronauts. I'm trying to keep it on this earth. Okay, we about to. Hey, if you that entitled, no, we ain't kicking it. Like just like what you said, Sean. No BS. Some people are willing to cater to BS, and that's what she's looking for. She's looking for somebody to cater to that BS. Is it possible for her to find it? It's possible. Is it possible for her to change? Because she'll realize that it's a futile mission that she's on. It's possible as well. Hopefully that's what it is. Hopefully she'll have a mindset change. But,
I don't see her finding that.
But
I would lend it to also like what Rick was saying. There was an onus on this gentleman as well, right? Because if you watched how they met, his position in which he decided to approach her is because other men, he said, seemed to be intimidated by in approaching her, and he thought that she was attractive.
They was just smart.
Whatever. That's why. So you're making my point, right? So he goes up to it and talking. Initially, she said that she was not attracted to him. She said this. Okay. So she said, but then he began to have a conversation with her, and he began to, she was cool with giving him her number. Right. So, however, he says that he's looking for someone that's long term. So this is where he messed up in not evaluating the conversation from a productive standpoint, because they talked for about a week. Okay. So in a week's time, she could put on a front or whatever. But however, it's very challenging to do that when you're saying, I want to look for a wife. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then what's she going to say? Well, yeah, I'm looking for a husband too. Well, if that's the case, now he said, okay, we cool. So let's go on a date. I got a surprise for you. And then she comes up and she's late. Right. Well, by that point, he should have said, listen, we're not going to do this. We're going to either have to reschedule or we can't do this because you just took away time from me and we missed our reservation. Okay. Now, and then if he stays there, he said, okay, well, since we have missed our reservations, we can go somewhere else. And this is where we're going. So I'm saying there is a responsibility that he has, right, in providing this representation of this woman, because if he didn't go on the date with her, we never would have knew about her. Right. That's that part. The second part is that he decided to go on the date. Now she shows her true character. Right. And she showed her character from the jump, and he still was gracious enough to her. So then that's the part where she's accountable to the disrespect. Right.
Mama Dad, I got a question to ask.
All right, cool.
Why isn't that we don't move in good faith with our first move? Why she just didn't say, hey, I just want to eat. I don't want to get to know you. I just want to use you. How come we don't move in good faith like that? I mean, if you the bad bee you say you are, then let's see how that works out for you. But like I said earlier, we put on the front and for all the world to see. And now other women who've identified with this have to, justify it. You know what I mean?
I don't know too many women that was justifying this position. Did you?
Oh,
you
they
found
were.
Some?
They were.
I wouldn't know those. I didn't see those.
They were.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of women justifying this either. But they say the same thing to us though, right? Like, why don't we just say we want to have sex? Because it don't work.
That's not true. That's the thing though, Prototype. We talked about this before. If a dude approach you, he want to have sex with you.
Yeah, but they be like, just say you want to have sex with me. And then when you say, well, I just want to have sex. Well, I'm not that type of girl.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't saying that again.
I see what
you have not because you asked not.
So you're saying that nobody is going to be honest.
My whole thing is why do we expect? My thing is this: why should our first inkling to meeting somebody that they're going to be dishonest? I would rather live in a world to thinking that people are going to be of good faith and of good favor, because if I'm thinking in the back of my head you're going to be dishonest from the beginning, I'm not really going to open up. I'm not really going to show you who I am. You're going to get this mask. We're going to get through this dinner, and we ain't going to talk no more after that. But I would rather that we be honest with each other and say, hey, look, this is what I need. Just to be honest. I don't want to waste your time. I don't like my time being wasted. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
A lot of people are not self-aware at all. They're not self-aware. And they also have a bunch of learned behavior and learned experiences from their own childhood. So what we feel like that's dysfunctional to them, that's normal. That's just how they move throughout life. So a lot of people lack self-awareness.
But at the same time, that also begs the question for this show. How do we improve the perception? You see what I'm saying? So that's my only question is, how do we improve the perception if we're moving this way from the beginning? And this is all that we see.
Yeah, I like to piggyback off that because I do like that as for moving with the good intention or given the benefit of the doubt. And from his perspective, like we'll say like he was stupid for waiting for an hour. But if he was going for long term, he was looking for love. And love is patient and love is kind, right? So like he's laying those groundworks from the jump, and he got dogged for it.
That's what
that was my stance, and I think that if a lot of people were to be honest, they would reveal that they're not ready. Like if a lot of people were to go up to people and be honest as to what they wanted, they probably wouldn't end up dating. Like Penny said, like she's not gonna find nobody that's gonna sit there and take what her honest face is right now. Like
I don't
she
think that's
would
the
be,
problem.
and I think it's partially like, for sure, like people are not self-aware. A lot of people don't know that their behavior is unacceptable. A lot of people don't know that they're at a place where it won't heed the results they're looking for. But also there's individuals that can outright say that, and they're not, like, it just would real if you had to sit before a date and ask yourself, which as we should, which I'm sure a lot of people don't, why am I going on this date? You might have that revelation of, I don't need to be going on this date, because if somebody was going on this date with me for that same reason, I would not go.
But that's the food guy. That's what he for.
Yeah, I want to dig a little deeper here. I want to dig deeper. Okay.
But no, but it's okay.
When
like,
we
if
when
that's
we gonna
what
get
he's
to these
for-
resolutions though?
Wait,
When we
okay,
see-
so that's,
Okay, I
think
got
there's a
some. Okay.
resolution. Wait, one moment. Because if
No,
he's the food
yeah.
guy then, and she's saying that she's a high stat, that's what we say in the delusion. Because if you're going on dates with a food guy, and the food guy is supposed to take you to a certain type of place, and you're this, look at me, look at who I am, look at this, this is my stature, but you got a food guy. The woman of the
I
stature that
see.
she's describing, is
They
not
be
your
lying. They
food guy.
liars.
You're not,
Hit the
you're
button,
not that.
Ricky.
They liars. I don't have a button. It's me. They
Like, you can go on your
liars,
food
bro.
date, but let's
Can y'all
be
explain the
real.
delusion? What's the delusion in her having a food guy?
I got you, sis. I got you,
Delusion?
Tamia. I got you, sis.
Thank you.
Right?
Because like,
The-
you can't.
The delusion
Like-
is, right, you want this lifestyle. Like, you're only good enough for this, but you dating this dude. You dating this dude that you just trying to use for a meal? Like, I
Let me
keep trying
explain
to...
that. Let me explain
Right.
that. See, this is how women are. Women are not honest. Just like you guys pointed out that she took her self-worth and equated to the cheesecake. So she felt like, oh, I'm too good to go to Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
And then as y'all mentioned and pointed out, he was the only one that came to talk to her. So to a woman, a certain type of guy that comes and talk to her, that determines her self-value and self-worth. So she's mad and offended, first of all, that this is all she can get and this is all that wants her. So now she's going into this date like, I'm just going to get anything out of this date that I want because I really don't want to be with him. But since he's the only one here, I'm going to run his pockets up. And that's how women are. But women are not honest about
But
that.
if you're holding yourself at that stature, why do you have time for, like, okay, granted, I'm not saying like having a food guy is wrong. Like, if you gonna want, like, honey, I'm here with you. Like, I get it. Like, there's sometimes where we're like, I'm gonna go on this date, I'm gonna have a cute date, whatever. That is still totally fine. But in this circumstance, where her main driving force for why she shouldn't have been at the Cheesecake Factory was, I'm all this and that, you got a lot of time on your hands to be wasting, because if you're all this and that, then your time should be used with a valuable male, or your time is not to be wasted.
But that's the
So,
reality. The
honestly-
Cheesecake Factory represented the reality of what she thought and felt. Once she got to that Cheesecake Factory, it was shattered.
She's
Yeah,
a liar,
was
bro.
falling
Tamia, Tamia,
She's a liar, bro.
She
Y'all
thought
can't-
that she was going to go to a fancy restaurant.
And she
That's
was.
the thing.
No,
She
she
was gonna go.
She knew.
Right.
But in
was,
reality,
y'all-
The delusion in that. I don't understand what the delusion is.
Ask me this
The
question.
delusion in that, the delusion in that is, you were an hour, like, I think what we're missing is not her preference. Her preference is not the problem. You could have went on, her expectation is not the problem. The moment where you blatantly no longer were behaving in a stature that should have deserved that, like you were an hour late, you're being rude, you locked the door on him, you put out your camera, why are you confused? Like at this point, I think you got a nerve.
I see
Because
what
you're
you're
not
saying.
behaving. Like, you get what I'm
She's
saying?
not
Like, okay,
behaving
yeah,
to the
you're not
stature in which
behaving
she
that
say
way.
that she is.
It's called false sense of entitlement. That's what I
And that's
said.
what
It's false
Lost
sense
in
of-
Translation was saying.
false
So
sense.
not,
It's a
like,
false
you can have a
sense
preference. It's
of
not her
entitlement.
preference.
She felt entitled. That's why she pulled out the phone. That's why she did all these other
She embarrassed herself.
objectives.
All right, so I
False
want to do
sense
this
of
because I want. We
entitlement.
talked about the problem enough. I want to be problem oriented. Okay, so we understand that she was wrong. So talk to me about who are people or women specifically should be looking to as a representation of a solid woman, aka towards being a wife. Who are some people that you see that we can all know who they are?
To be
Next
honest,
question, please.
To be honest, I don't think, yeah, like, I don't think that
That's
every
not-
woman should be, I agree. Like, Ash is right. Like, go to the Bible. Like, honestly, that's my straight up advice. I don't think you should be looking at anybody else because you don't know who this person is behind. Like, granted, we all want examples and stuff like that, but this day and age, we don't have many, and everybody should think. Like, it really there's no perfect
There's not a good
individual.
example.
There's not a
put
good
it straight,
example.
simple.
I feel like you need to look at yourself. I feel like you need to do self-work, figure yourself out, have conversations with trusted individuals, yes, but I genuinely cannot call out a name or an individual, not because I'm disrespecting women or there are none, but because the matter of the truth is, until you know, as a woman, until we know ourselves, until we're certain on who we are internally and what our ugliest points are and what our strongest points are, then you can look at whoever you want. End of the day, a woman needs to know where she is, and then she can, really sit there and thrive and be a better person. But all of this, that's why I said misguided. That's why that was my main answer. All of this looking all over the place ain't gonna get us nowhere.
The only positive name I've heard in a long time when it comes to how a woman should behave is Savannah James.
I was just about to say,
I haven't heard.
I was waiting for them to finish.
Any other name out there floating around? That's the only name.
But you can't look at Savannah though. You can't look at Savannah because Savannah is not touchable. She's not reachable. She's not able to give you any advice. I would say find the wives that are on your social media. Find the wives in your neighborhood, in your environment. And I'm not saying take from every wife, but every wife got a story, and every wife that made a sacrifice. And if that's not a sacrifice that you want, then you may not want to be a wife. Go to your mom, see what your mom done been through. Go to your auntie, see what they done been
Humble
through.
Dad,
Hold on, let her finish. Let her finish. We know we gotta let people finish.
So I mean, I would say that's the best bet, because you can't tell people not to lie in this world. It's life.
I think
everybody's gonna lie. We're all out to get something. So I don't think there's one way to fix it. You just find somebody who life that you want to, you think some positive ways them came about that. Ask them what their struggles was, how they overcame some of their struggles. And, you try to, put that in the direction of your life and see if it fit. But you're going to have to live your own experience from those results as well. But I mean, that's the only thing you really can do. There is no way out of it. There is no one way to say, okay, if we all, didn't treat men like the Cheesecake Factory lady, that we'll all be off in a better place. No, because then the men are going to do some things too. And it's going to turn women into savages too. So it's like, there is no way around that.
I feel like women
we'll go with Lena, yes, and then Lawson.
Okay, they will have to overcome pride to even look to another woman to say, hey, maybe I can do better or be like her. They would have to accept the fact that they're doing something wrong, but they're too prideful to do that. So I think it would have to start there, being less prideful and then being open and receptive. And like you even just mentioned what's her name? I said Savannah. Yeah, as you mentioned with her, you said you personally feel like she's untouchable. She's not going to give out advice. So put that into perspective into what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying anything is wrong with you saying that. I'm not attacking you in no sort of way, but I'm trying to point out that as a woman, you even felt like, well, Savannah's not someone I'm going to strive after, even though half the people on this panel felt like she's a great person, but to you felt like that's not an attainable goal for women.
No, not an attainable goal. I don't know her struggles. I don't know what she's doing over there with LeBron. I don't know what she done went through. I don't know what's that.
She's private. Basically, she's private. Like, you notice a lot of the women that are commendable, they aren't spilling all of their business. They're very poised. Their family business is their family business. So it's not all the way out there for a lot of young ladies or women to just, very easily Google or figure out. She's not very accessible. And that's why it works. She's not very accessible, but it's also unfortunate. That's why I said it starts with self, but that's why it's unfortunate. Like, it starts with self. You got to check yourself first. But Penny was basically like, she's private. She's private. Yeah. She's poised, and she carries herself a certain way. And that's why Penny said, go to these women. you might have to write a Savannah James. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I know
I mean,
I
it
might
wouldn't be easy to be like Savannah. You just not be on social media.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be easy
Private.
to be like her. I'm not saying that, but yeah, go with someone with experience. Like, you know, a lot of people don't go to their mothers or their grandmothers because they're too old. They don't know what's going on. But there's a lot of experience there. There's a lot of struggle there. And not all of it's going to lead you in the bad direction. Like people say, their moms tell them, you know, men ain't this and that. All of it's not that way. Just find enough women in your circle, and they'll tell you the struggles that they overcame. They'll tell you how they pick their battles and certain things with their husbands. You know, you'll get that experience.
Sean, what you got on?
We not having that conversation.
Ash, let me get with Sean, and then I'm gonna come back to you.
I agree with everything Penny said. I do think that the problem with us today is we like to sensationalize if you aren't a superstar, if you don't have, well, I guess you can pay for blue check marks now, but if you aren't, because see, the first thing that we talked about was Savannah James. We didn't talk about a aunt or a mother. You hear a lot of people say, I never seen a healthy marriage. I'm like, really? In 2023, you never seen a healthy marriage? I'm thinking you should surround yourself with other people. That means your circle was jacked up. But a lot of people don't want to take the time to connect with everyday people who deal with everyday issues. I think Uncle Rick was talking about that. Like there's no medium. Everything has to be, you got to be the superstar. So when people talk about they want to be, where's the female delegation? Everybody's looking to Beyonce. Beyonce is not going to call you. So we have to form communities. I would not be the man I am today without mentors who you never heard of. You would never know these men. But I am the man I am today because these men invested their life into me. And I think a lot of times we so selfish, we're not willing to invest into other people. We're not willing to give some of our time to other people. So we live on these islands. Everyone is every man for themselves, and then we wonder why we're in the situation that we are today.
On you, Ash.
Okay, I forgot. Hold on.
Ash, you better stop doing that. You might need to get you a pen and paper and just write your thoughts down.
I'll go. If you don't
go
mind.
ahead.
We like to use excuses for why we can't listen to other people. And we like to say, well, this person is untouchable. When we got people right here in this community you can talk to who are married. Security boss, okay? She has a show just about every single day. She invites people up. She has the real conversations with people, and she's accessible, and she's married, and she's successful. Why don't we go support her? Take heed to the message. She's married. You know what I mean? She's successful. She's reachable. So why don't we talk to her? Mrs. Harris of the Harris Tribe Media. How come we don't talk to them? She's married. She has success, and they're successful. You know what I'm saying? So we can make all the excuses that we want, but we have a community right here who's accessible, you know what I mean, for us to lean on. And they'll be glad to talk to you about it. And they're touchable and they're reachable. They're kind people. They give out advice every day. And guess what? They show up for the work every single day. Every single day. So as far as, you know, not wanting to give out names, we can give out names, you know, but most people won't want to use people who are highly visible. You know, there was a time where people said Angela Bassett, she's a beautiful wife. She's successful. She's poised. She's graceful. Samuel Jackson's wife, she's poised. She's beautiful. She's graceful. Denzel Washington's wife, you don't hear nothing come out of that camp, but he will tell you he would not be the man he is today without his wife. So my thing is the examples are all around. The true question is, are you willing to open your eyes?
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. That's what I was going to say. Like, how is it that you, I think it's important for us to see that if we can look at celebrities in a negative light, we can also look at those that are doing it well. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important to say. Okay, I do agree with what you're saying though, Penny. Like, you know, every situation is different. However, there are some structures in place. If you talk to all of us that have been married, and we can sit down and talk, and we can say these are some things that we all have in common. These are some of the things that we all have in common that work, and these are some of the things that don't work, right? And that's going to be universal with the married people. Would y'all agree with that? Right? Like communication. Yep. Communication, how you talk to him, how you talk to her, what does date night look like? What is the finances? How we raising the kids? Like those are 4 things right there that we're all going to have that we're going to be talking about and communicating about. So you can learn from a multitude of people. Also, there's a lady named TK Lee that I've been reaching out to. I haven't gotten to, they haven't had time to come on. But her podcast is blowing up right now. I think it's called Wifed Up. Is one. Mending Eden. Y'all know him. Him and his wife. They've been on. The
Dating and Marriage.
Huh?
Dating and Marriage. Support.
Dating and Marriage. So there are those that I think that the thing is that your algorithm is off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your algorithm is off. If you're saying that you can't find nobody that's touchable, then I would suggest that you change up your algorithm. I had a really good conversation with somebody, and they said, well, you talk a lot about single women. And I'm like, that's right. And the pastor talked about this, and we're going to wrap this up here shortly. He said so many times the church talks about trying to bring people into the church instead of dealing with the people that are already inside the church. Right. I was like, man, that make a lot of sense, especially from my podcast, because I do talk about women, yes, but that was the goal, to try to get them in a space as well as men in a space to be married. But if I could get to the point of where I'm executing and talking well about the marriages and having people talk about that, then people can see the success stories of marriage. So that's my transition. That's why I say I want to see how we can fix the representation of Black women, because I think that's one of the reasons why men are afraid to get married. That's just my thought process right now. And so we're going to wrap it up there. We're going to say, what's your takeaway? Where can we find you? Because, I appreciate y'all time, but, we can do this forever. So we're going to start with Sean. Okay?
Yes. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was an honor to getting to connect with everybody. You can find me at scarytoremarry.com.
And what's your takeaway for this evening?
We have work to do. In 2023, we still have a lot of work to do.
Okay, I got you. Ash, on you.
You can find me on Instagram, 360.diva. My takeaway is we need to be more accountable for our actions and stop with the selfishness and put the pride to the side.
Dwayne, on you.
Takeaway, I'd say don't be scared to ask. If you see somebody doing something well, reach out, see what the formula is. And I think we can do that for relationships and all that fun stuff. So that's my takeaway.
Where can they find you?
DwayneJonesPhotography.com.
That's what's up. On you, Miss Elena.
You guys can find me on YouTube at Elena J. Savage. And my takeaway is that it's okay to be normal. It's okay to be average. It's okay to model yourself after your auntie, your grandma, or your nice neighbor next door who's married.
That's what's up. On you, Uncle Rick.
You can find me here on YouTube under Ricky Williams # TWT, on Instagram at RDubs. That's AREDUBBZ. My takeaway, man, stand on your square, right? Then you would even get into these type of situations. Stand on your square, right? Understand that you have value. Learn your worth, man. They take care of a lot of issues.
That's good. Prototype, on you.
Man, you can find me on Humble Dad on Mondays. And Prototype Kingdom, man, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, man. We're building a nice little platform.
What time? You gotta tell them the time.
9 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesdays. Man, my takeaway is we're building a nice community of good people on YouTube, man. We all got some solid platforms. Laz, Rick, just anybody on this panel, right? And Boss was able to point a lot of people on blast on like, hey, look at this person, look at this channel, look at that channel. We have some resources here, and we need to start utilizing them, man. And I think we're building up a nice community. I think essentially we all, as a family, want to solve our problems. You know what I mean? I think we're kind of tired of what's going on in our community and in the world, man. And I think that's why we're all here. Essentially, that's what's driven us all together. So.
Mm-hmm. You're looking like a superhero up there, Proto. Got the beard growing.
You see,
my guy.
How are you, Penny?
You can find me on this podcast or this show once a month. I'm gonna try and do once a month, but I did twice a month this month, so I'm hanging in there. I think we really need more married people to give their story, show their struggle, show their results, give us their testimony of how they made things work. So I think we need more people to come out and branch out and tell us what's going on behind them closed doors so we can know what it's about, know how to handle those situations. So that's my takeaway.
Hey, real quick, as you think before you go, Lost in Translation, to the people that are single, I just thought about this. Would y'all be interested in having a Q&A to ask those that are married questions?
That would.
Okay, on you, Lost in Translation.
You can find me here on Mondays on Humble Dad, Sundays on my channel, Lost in Translation Podcast, on Tuesday on Black Man Unfiltered, sometimes on Thursday if they ask me, and definitely on Friday at the barbershop, you'll be able to find me. But as needed, I'm here there, so just keep your eyes peeled, also on Instagram as well. My takeaway from this is you don't have to identify with your problems. You are not your problems, and you can always be better today than you were yesterday. So my thing is this: make sure that you're aware of who you are, and you have to understand that you are not your problems, and you don't have to use anybody else's identity to be who you are. You are uniquely made and made for specifically for your mission, so you don't have to put nobody else's costume on. And that's my thing, Humble Man. Thank you so much.
That's what's up. Tamia.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at the Coach Mia. You can find me on YouTube at Tamia Luster. My biggest takeaway is that self-awareness is vital before taking any steps to do anything, and that just be mindful of your actions. Think things through before you do them. Just think things through before you do them.
Think things through before you do them. Well, I appreciate it. My takeaway is that I got one of the dopest shows on the planet. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep saying that. And then the world will eventually catch up to me. And two, I'm with Prototype. Like, there's a lot of good people. As if you've been coming to the show, you can see I find them, and they say yes because they want to build and they want to see marriages work, and that's my goal. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why I'm here, is to show people that success happens in marriage. It's challenging, but however, it shows you who you are. And it shows you who you can be, right?
That's a fact.
So that's my takeaway. You know what I'm saying? You had something to say, Rick?
Oh, I was saying that's a fact. And also letting everybody know on my channel, I'm doing book club right now. Right now we reading The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. We're gonna pick this book. Hey, a lot of people ain't read this book.
I got it. I got the whole set, boy. I got the whole set, yeah.
It's an eye opener. So, for the gentlemen and the ladies, this brings great understanding. But then after that, when we finish this, we're going to read this one. Self-Made Man. This is the lady who act like she was a man for 18 months, right? And I read a couple of pages of it in the front. I want to keep it from when we do it, right? But she has a great insight on what things is going on. I think this is going to be a real interesting book. So it's about an hour long. I don't sit y'all for 2 hours or nothing. So if y'all want to come and learn these books without paying for them, come check out the channel.
When is it?
It'll be tomorrow. What's tomorrow's Tuesday? It'll be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for the read. So
that's what's up. See, we out here trying to make changes, man. All right. Well, until next time. Oh, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. You can find merchandise and things of that nature on humbledad.life. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this. You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see them about to impact the world.